Gather round, children, gather round. It's story time with Just the Little Writer. In case you didn't know, that's me. Flesh and blood in the warehouse district. In a city with many names and many deaths, there's a warehouse. It has no visible signage and no named owner. People of the city call it the meat box. It appears after dark, standing all by itself and away from other buildings. Everyone who lives in the city knows what's in that warehouse. Visitors are told so that they know to avoid it. The meat box has an office and 4 rooms. Room 1, the largest room, is for heads. The heads are always kept. Room 2 is for torsos. Torsos are only kept if they are decorated with interesting art. Room 3 is for arms. Fingers are kept sometimes, but never the whole arm. Room 4 is for legs. The only foot ever kept has gold rings on the toes. How do the rooms get filled? No one knows. People of the city just know that some missing person from somewhere will turn up in the meat box. Who's brave enough to go in? The meat minders, that's who. They are paid to go into the meat box to tag everything. They take pictures and number all the new arrivals. The heads first, then the torsos. The arms and legs last. Extra pictures are taken of the parts not kept. All pictures are dated, and when the parts disappear, the vanishing date is noted as well. One night, when Meat Minder Jones saw a new head, he fainted on the spot. His co-workers came to his aid with a folded-up coat to place under his head and some cold water to splash on his face. Jones came to and did not get up immediately. His co-workers couldn't get him to talk. He just mumbled under his breath while fighting back tears. Jones stumbled out of room 1, up the stairs that led to the office. None of the meat minders had ever been in there. Their schedules, breaks, and directives were always on a note hanging on the warehouse door. Jones was distraught. That new head. He knew who that head belonged to. Maybe in the office, he thought. There was some info on how to put the parts back together. Jones pushed and pulled, while frantically turning the doorknob this way and that. He threw himself against the door, pounded and kicked it, but it didn't budge. Jones slid all the way down to the floor, sobbing. Jones stayed there until he cried himself to sleep. When he woke up, it was well after his shift ended. The meat minders had been instructed to never be in the warehouse after sunrise. Jones didn't know why before, but he would find out on this day. The office door creaked open, revealing nothing but darkness. There were no windows or artificial lights. Jones crawled into the office and pulled himself up by the door frame. He felt along the wall for a light switch, but there wasn't one. Jones could make out the definite shapes of a desk and chair. He sat in the chair and noticed the tiny lamp on the desk. One touch of the lamp and Jones was able to see the whole office clearly. The walls, floor, and furniture were solid red, dark red, like blood. Jones looked very closely at the desk. A message was scratched into the surface. It took Jones almost 30 minutes to decipher the meaning. If your mind be quick and nimble, do these things to reassemble. Gather limbs, then middle find, quick before you lose the time. Lastly, the head must be in place, the pieces rejoin in this case. Do you know the danger is surely real? For the meat is meant to be a meal. If saving someone is what you do, the replacement fill must be you. Jones read the warning several times. He left the office and the door closed on its own. Down the stairs he went into the front door. His hand touched the handle, and from room 1 he heard crying, a female voice begging and pleading. "No, don't leave me," the voice said. Daddy, don't leave me." Jones knew who that voice belonged to. The new head that was his estranged daughter. "Help me, Dad, please help me," she sobbed. Jones turned the handle. He left the warehouse for the last time, and his position as a meat minder would be open.